You've already heard in our video yesterday how mentioning ROI can hurt your deals.
To understand why, go and look at the video from yesterday. But the key thing is that your buyer's primary decision-making brain, which is represented by this chimp here, well, it doesn't care about ROI. It doesn't understand that language. In fact, it's turned off by ROI. But there is a way that you can present ROI so that instead of turning your buyer's chimp off, you turn it on.
And the first rule is not to mention the term ROI. You need to use something much more powerful. You need one of these, a customer story. But it's a special customer story with a before state and an after state.
We know what you're thinking. You've got these already. You've got your customer case studies, customer testimonials, but most of those don't trigger the things that your buyer's chimp cares about. It doesn't trigger the chimp's sense of tribe. It doesn't trigger the chimp's survival instinct. And okay, it might have some contrast in there, but there's something that's missing that's absolutely crucial.
So what's missing? Well, have a listen to this ex-FBI hostage negotiator. This is a short excerpt from the Salesman's podcast quite recently.
Coming up on today's episode of the Salesman Podcast.
As a hostage negotiator, we use human nature-based principles that have been shown to work in every culture on the planet. There's some psychologists that believe that literally every single decision we make is based on our fear of loss. Now, I'm not sure if it's every decision, but it's really high on the hit parade. And so if you can trigger a fear of loss, I mean, you snap somebody's attention right away.
You snap somebody's attention right away. You trigger their fear of loss. Think about your case studies. Most of them start by describing a company having specific challenges, and then you come in and save the day. What's missing from that story? Somebody is missing from that story. An actual person is missing from that story.
And that's rule number 2. You need a central protagonist. But not just any protagonist, a protagonist that your buyer believes is part of their tribe. So if you're selling to a CFO, this is another CFO, just like your buyer. If your buyer is a CMO, this is another CMO, just like your buyer. If they're an operations director, this is another ops director, just like your buyer. Because your buyer needs to see themselves in this story.
Think of your case studies again. Most of them are just an excuse for you to boast about the great things that you did over here. Now, is that going to trigger your buyer's sense of loss? Absolutely not. The only way you can trigger your buyer's sense of loss is to explore their full personal journey from the very beginning. That means you have to identify their challenges, identify the impact of their challenges, even how they feel. If you can get a quote from that person telling you how they actually felt, you will 5x the power of your case studies.
So that's rule number 3, that your story has to very clearly show your buyer that this protagonist, this is someone like your buyer, someone that your buyer believes is part of their tribe. Well, it's going to show your buyer that this protagonist was really struggling before they embarked on their journey with you.
And now you've finally got to the part of the story where you can talk about the great things that you've done. But that would be a mistake. What you have to do instead is talk about the great things that your buyer has done. They're so great, in fact, that your buyer is now a hero. They've saved loads of money. They might even have been promoted. They certainly feel fantastic.
So that's rule number 3.
Whoa.
This isn't your story, it's your customer's story. So what's more powerful? Telling your buyer that you can help them achieve some kind of ROI, or sharing a story with them, a story that they can see themselves in, that takes them on a journey from this point here where they're struggling to this point here where they can become a hero.
Let us know what you think in the comments below.